This is Herd Summer Racing League Race 3. This is a 8-race GC series. In this case, we have 10 sprint segments. Fastest through the sprint segment gets 50 points, second place gets 49, and so on. But your finish points are worth 250 and -5 for each spot below that. We're racing with Cat D right now, and it's a pretty slow start, primarily because in 2.4 kilometers there is a first sprint segment. It's a 700-meter segment. Dos Andes sprint reverse. I'm sure I absolutely butchered that French name. But there's a slight incline on it, and 700 meters makes it a bit longer. It's the longest one on this course. As always, you have to have a plan. My plan for this course is going to be to try to finish second or third on the sprint points, and then try and win 1, 2, or 3 on the finish points. People to watch: Collier. He's the strongest rider in the group, but he is not actually racing for GC right now. He is just coming into this race so he could spoil this for people. Lisa Swift's pretty tough. You're going to see her in the sprints. Michael is working back. Michael, another herd rider, is working back from an injury. Here we go into the first sprint. I'm tail gunning, as you can see. And remember, second or third is good enough for me. I don't want to waste too much. Marcus is someone to watch out for. He beat me in the individual team time trial by 7 seconds, and I need to make that point back. He is at some red numbers out of Marcus already, but again, I just need to finish, save my legs, because we've got 3 laps. We're going to go through this sprint 3 times. The next sprint isn't far off either. It's about 1.4 kilometers. From here, there's not much time to recover, but even with that sprint, we have a break in the group, and I need to get up and hang with this front group if I'm going to have any chance to win this. I'm going to run my typical strat: hang in the back, try and let everybody else do the work, conserve energy, and attack these sprints as best I can without overdoing it. Hopefully the rest of these folks will be excited, and they'll just hit it too hard on these early ones, and I can make up slots on the back ones. Here we come up at 5K. As I said, we're coming up on the second sprint, just around this turn. Marcus being smart, hanging towards the back, tail gunning like I'm doing, and off we go. So I finished this sprint in third, which is quite fine for me. But we don't have much of a break coming up here in this next one, because the next sprint is at 6.4, and you don't even barely get any recovery time, and you'll be sprinting again. So I've got to get to the back, let these guys do the work, and prep for the third sprint. This third sprint, I end up hitting a little bit harder, 400 meters till we get there. Collier just went off the front. Like I said, he's the strongest rider. He ended up he's gone. We'll never see him again. He just takes off. But here's the sprint. I hit this one hard. I don't want to fall too far behind, and I end up taking first on this sprint. So far so good. We're riding exactly as I want to ride this race. All the strategies coming into play. Second or third, hanging on with this group. And something happens here in a little bit that completely changes the complexion of this race. Let me speed up and we'll get there. To set the scene, we're taking it easy. Notice our watts are pretty low. We have about, 5K or so till we have to go back and do that first sprint again. Everybody's just trying to recover. We know if we stay together, everything's going to be fine. On this course, when we run a Herd Summer Racing League, all the cats are actually on the course together. These go off the front first, and obviously CBAs. So you have the opportunity, if one of them passes you, to latch onto that group behind you and try and get some extra draft boost from those guys. But of course, they're pushing pretty hard, and their watts are higher than ours, and we just can't hang with them for the entire race. So we're about to be caught by the C's, and I'm thinking we're 1K out from the sprint point. Normally I'd latch on, but we probably don't want to do that because we want to save our energy for the sprint. If they were closer, I probably would have latched on, and I'm just expecting these guys to go right through, and all us D's will kind of sit back and ride together. And imagine my surprise when I find myself in no man's land. I have totally screwed this up. I've got 2 choices now. I can sit back and ride solo, but I'm in 8th place. There's no way I can get the points I need when I'm in 8th place. So now I've got to burn a match and try and get caught back up to these guys. And that is right before a sprint point. What a lousy time to start burning matches and trying to catch up. But I have no choice. It's either that or I lose the race right here. So now my strategy has to change, because I am burning a lot of energy to catch up to these guys. And we're going to enter this sprint point, and they're going to push it hard. So I'm not going to get any relief by the time I get caught back up to them. So the only strategy I have available now is to catch up to these guys. I'm going to have to forego the sprint points. I'm going to hope I can get in at a 4th or 5th maybe, and then get a high enough finish when I catch up to these guys to be able to make up with those 5 points at the finish line. But 7th place right now is bad, hanging off the back, and I am really pushing a good TT pace here, trying to get caught back up. You know, it's 3s right now. Now we hit the sprint. These guys are all picking up the pace. It is absolutely miserable trying to catch up again. Don't ever make that mistake. If they go by, you better latch on, and that way you aren't going to have the agony that I'm experiencing right now. So as you can see, I'm just not catching them, but I cannot give up. So I'm into a TT now. I've just got to buckle down and just get caught up. Again, don't worry about this sprint segment through here. We're going to see how the sprint segment ends, and then we'll speed this thing up, because now that they're sprinting, I'm falling even further behind. But it's, again, here's your choice. This is the mental game you've got right here. Do I go for it? Do I try to catch up to these guys, or do I just throw the towel in on this race? And this is an 8-race GC series. I already took 3rd place in the in the individual time trial, so that's my throwaway race. You only get one. I have got to make something out of this race. I've got to find a way to get some points in. So now look at the distance. I'm looking 10 seconds behind. I'm going to speed this up, and then we'll see what I end up doing. Those D guys are really hanging long with those C people. Of course, the C folks are slowing down in between the sprint points, and like I said, I'm just TTing at this point. I'm getting everything I've got to start trying to pass these guys. There goes Marcus. Interestingly enough, he dropped down to 0 right there. I'm not sure what happened to him. He was one of the people I was concerned about earlier. Here's a sprint point. I try to put a little bit of effort so I don't come in dead last. And here I think the B's are going by me, but I'm so tired I can't execute the watts to stay with them. And we're about to come into the next sprint point, and I'm just trying to catch up to somebody. Mike's up there. He's one of my herd teammates. He's 11 seconds away. I've got to cut that gap. It says 13 now because he sprinted, made it even harder on me. If I cut that gap, I know we can work together and try and catch Adams. Corlier, like I said, is gone. London's way up there too, according to this. So I have got 5th place. Maybe that's good enough. Probably not. So I've got to keep working and working and working. So what turned into let's run the sprint points and then rest in between has now become just a flat-out race. I grabbed a hold of what I assume are the A's here for a little bit and used them to pull me up, which worked. I caught up to Mike and I caught up to Whitehead, and Whitehead ends up hanging off and on throughout this race. You'll see a bunch of them. Watch for that blue jersey of his. But I'm glad to at least be with these 3 guys. So now I have the opportunity to get 3rd. And then, of course, Mike goes with one guy who goes by it. So now I have to burn another match catching up to Mike. He's not being a very good teammate right now, but he is racing well. So now we're back to the 3 of us as that fella ahead got away, and we're about to enter into the 3rd sprint point. Now here, my left calf is starting to cramp up, and I'm doing everything I can to stay loose on that calf and stay in touch with these guys. So I'm really not having fun, but again, I can't give it up. And right here, I go into full-blown cramp, but I can't stop. So I end up pedaling with heel down to try and loosen it up, and it loosened up just before we got to that end there, which helped. But boy, I thought my race might have been done there. Again, it's a lot of mental stuff when you're in this race. You got to just decide you're going to do it and push, push, push. Here we are. We happen to drop Whitehead on that sprint, which I'm happy. Now it puts Mike and I fighting for 3rd and 4th. And there Mike tells me that he's done. He's actually coming back from an injury. He's telling that he's going to give me a lead out on here, and then he's going to slow down. So I take this lead out and hit this sprint to try and get an extra point. I have 2 goals now. Mike's dropped off, but I've got Lisa Swift behind me, and I've got Whitehead behind me. Lisa is really punching through these sprints, but I've got to stay ahead of them. I've got to get 3rd place to try and make up some points. Lisa ended up finishing 1st through the sprint 3 times, 2nd twice, 3rd once. Whitehead was 2nd in 1 sprint and 3rd in 1 sprint, so he's not getting a whole lot of sprint points. I did not know it at the time because he looked like he was pretty strong. But here they are. They latch on another group, and now they catch up to me. Now we got 3rd, 4th, and 5th place in the D category riding together. We've got 4 or 5K to go, and all I can do right now is hang on. But I know I'm more tired than they are because I had to do that TT work. But we're closing in on the finish, and all I want to do is just hang. Cannot let this group get away from me. I assume we're with a bunch of C's, and they need to drag me in, and for sure I cannot let Lisa or Whitehead get away. So closing down to 3. I'm okay. They're going easy. I'm hanging on. I'm trying to recover. Heart rate's at 165. I have the opportunity to sprint. Whether I have the legs, we're going to find out. They start picking up the pace here. We'll slow this down for a second as we go into the finish. This is pretty much everybody's finish. You're near the end, you're tired, you're hurting, and it's all mental. You got to just hang on to this group. I want to stay at the back. I want to let everybody else do the maximum amount of work. We're 1.7 away. We've got a 300-meter sprint point leading into the finish. You've got sprint points on the line there, and then of course you have finish points. Fifth isn't going to cut it. I have no idea. Lisa's sprints have been strong. I'm very concerned about that. I've seen Whitehead put up a couple of numbers. He worries me as well. I don't know how long we're going to be able to hang with the C group. They may take off here in a little bit. 1K before the sprint time comes. It's just rest. Rest, recover, breathe. Don't panic. Get your mind in a good spot. Be ready to push. Remember, it's 300 meters to the finish, or whatever the sprint ends up being. Anybody can do 30 seconds hard. You just got to be relaxed and ready to do it mentally. Decide that you're not going to ease up. You're not going to ease up 10 meters before the line. You're going to go through the line. And there go, I'd assume, are the C's. We got Lisa leading us out. Whitehead's there. I'm in third. Exactly where I want to be. 600 meters to go. And we're closing in on this finish. Resting, heart rate's 169. It's starting to go up as they push the pace going in, but now we've dropped the watts down to 150. Easy. Now here's a sprint point. All I have to do is beat these two. When Lisa goes, I've got to go. Again, I don't know how strong she is, but I've got to get ahead of her and I got to stay. I'm hurting, but I'm not going to stop till I cross that finish. Whitehead pops onto my screen. I'm concerned, but I just hit it harder, and finish in third place. So with that, we ended up finding out that on the course here, I finished third. And once all the points were compiled, I actually ended up finishing first, which is surprising. It just shows you what a lot of effort and not giving up can do for you. Lisa finished second, and Corlier finished third. So good for all these folks. Great race, everybody. The lesson here, though, is don't give up. Even when you think you've been dropped and it's done, just start pushing and let the race unfold and see what happens at the end. See everybody next week.